What if the little things your dog does every day are not little at all? You stand up and they follow. You leave a shirt on the couch and suddenly it becomes the only place they want to sleep. You call their name and one ear turns before the rest of their body moves. Then come the quieter moments. The long stare. The heavy paw on your hand. The way they press against you when you never ask them to come closer. Most people call these habits. But what if they are signals? Studies of canine attachment suggest dogs do not behave the same way with everyone. Some actions appear most strongly around the person they trust, seek out, and feel safest with. And that changes everything. Because your dog may not see you as just the person who fills the bowl, opens the door, or holds the leash. To them, you may be something deeper, a source of safety, a place to return to, the one presence that lets their entire body relax. In this video, we are uncovering 15 things dogs tend to do with the person they love with a bond that can resemble the bond a puppy has with its mother. Some signs are obvious. Others are so subtle, you may have missed them for years. And the first begins with one simple question. Why does your dog follow you everywhere, even when you have nothing to offer? 1. The invisible tether. So why does your dog follow you everywhere? Not just when you're holding food. Not just when it's time for a walk. But when you're carrying laundry. When you're brushing your teeth. When you're grabbing a glass of water for less than 30 seconds. Most people laugh and say, "My dog is my little shadow." But that shadow isn't following you by accident. Behavior researchers believe dogs naturally keep track of the individual they rely on most. In social species, knowing where your trusted companion is has always been important. Separation doesn't always create fear, but losing track of someone important creates uncertainty. That's why your dog keeps checking where you are. They're not asking, "What are we doing?" They're asking, "Are you still here?" For your dog, knowing your location helps the world make sense, because when they know where you are, everything feels predictable again. But something remarkable happens once that question has been answered. They stop following. Not because they care less, because they no longer have to. 2. The silent anchor. Once your dog knows you're nearby, they often do something surprisingly simple. Nothing. They lie a few feet away. They close their eyes. They don't ask to play. They don't ask for treats. They don't even ask for your attention. To many people, it looks like absolutely nothing is happening. But emotionally, everything is happening. Animal behavior experts describe this as secure attachment. The greatest sign of security isn't constant attention. It's the ability to completely relax because someone you trust is close. Think about a young puppy resting beside its mother. It isn't staring at her every second. It isn't constantly touching her. Her presence alone is enough to lower its guard. Your dog may be doing exactly the same thing. Without saying a word, they're telling you, "I don't need anything right now." Knowing you're here is enough. And when a dog reaches that level of emotional security, there's only one place left to go. Complete vulnerability. 3. The belly-up surrender. That's why one of the most misunderstood behaviors is also one of the most meaningful. Your dog rolls onto their back and exposes their belly. Most people immediately think they want a belly rub. Sometimes they do, but that's only the surface. In the animal world, the belly protects many of the body's most vital organs. It's the last place a frightened animal willingly exposes. A nervous dog keeps its muscles tense. A worried dog stays ready to move. But a dog that slowly rolls over in front of you is making a very different decision. They're choosing vulnerability. Not because they have no choice, but because they believe they don't need to protect themselves from you. That may be one of the clearest expressions of trust a dog can offer. And yet, there is one behavior that requires even more confidence, not while they're awake, but after they close their eyes. 4. Sleeping directly on your body. There is one behavior that requires even more trust, not while your dog is awake, but after they fall asleep. Think about the last time your dog curled up directly on your lap, or rested across your legs. Maybe they even stretched out against your chest while you were watching television. At first, it just feels warm and comforting. But for your dog, it's something much deeper. Sleep is one of the most vulnerable moments in an animal's life. When dogs choose where to sleep, they instinctively look for places where they feel completely safe. By choosing to sleep on you instead of simply beside you, your dog is placing their body in the one place where they feel the most protected. It's a level of trust that can't be forced. It has to be earned. To your dog, your heartbeat, your breathing, even your warmth become part of the peaceful feeling that allows them to truly relax. And every new day begins with a quiet reminder of that bond. 5. Morning scent. Check if you've ever noticed your dog walking over to sniff you first thing in the morning. You're not imagining things. Many dogs do exactly this. After hours of sleep, your scent has changed. Your body chemistry is slightly different. Your dog is quietly gathering information, not because they're suspicious, but because checking in has become part of your daily routine together. It's almost like saying, "Good morning. Everything okay?" While we greet each other with words, dogs often greet the people they love with their nose. It's one of the simplest reminders that every single day, you're still their person. And once they've confirmed that, their day can truly begin. Some dogs do something even more touching. They begin taking care of you. 6. Grooming ritual. Sometimes your dog gently licks your hand, your arm, even your hair. Many people assume they're only looking for salt on your skin. But gentle licking also appears in social bonding throughout a dog's early life. Puppies are groomed by their mothers. Dogs groom trusted companions within their social group. As adults, many continue using gentle licking as a peaceful social behavior. It's less about cleaning and more about connection, almost like saying, "You matter to me. You're part of my family." If you've already recognized your own dog in several of these signs, take a second to subscribe to Doggo Mind. We explore the science, psychology, and hidden emotional world of dogs, and some of the most fascinating discoveries are still ahead. Because what you've seen so far is only how your dog shows love. The next signs reveal something even more remarkable, how your dog can sometimes understand your feelings, before you even understand them yourself. 7. Sensing your silent tears. But love isn't only about how your dog feels. It's also about how well they understand you. Have you ever had one of those days when you didn't cry? You didn't say a word. You didn't ask for comfort. Yet somehow, your dog walked straight over and quietly sat beside you? No one called them. No one pointed them in your direction. They simply knew. Scientists believe dogs are remarkably good at reading human emotions by combining several signals at once. They notice changes in your facial expressions, your posture, your breathing, even subtle changes in your body odor caused by stress hormones. In other words, your dog isn't reading your mind. They're reading your body. And sometimes, your body tells the truth long before your words do. That's why many dogs stay unusually close during difficult moments. Not because they've been trained to, because something tells them, "My person isn't okay." And without saying a single word, they answer with their presence. 8. The oxytocin gaze. Then comes one of the quietest moments of all. Your dog simply looks at you. Not because they want dinner. Not because they want to go outside. Just looking. Most people glance away after a second. Dogs often don't. Researchers have found that when dogs and their owners share relaxed eye contact, both can experience an increase in oxytocin, the same hormone strongly associated with trust, bonding, and close social relationships. It's one reason eye contact feels so different from an ordinary stare. To your dog, looking at you may be another way of strengthening the bond you already share, without moving, without making a sound. Just one look can say, "I'm with you." And sometimes, that feeling becomes so strong that your dog doesn't stop with eye contact alone. 9. The heavy chin rest instead. They slowly place their chin on your knee, your arm, or your lap. It's such a gentle movement that many people barely notice it. But think about what your dog is doing. They're placing the weight of their head, the part of the body that stays alert to the world, entirely on you. Not because they're tired, Because in that moment, you're carrying their sense of safety. It's quiet, it's gentle, and it's one of the most peaceful ways a dog can say, "I trust you enough to completely relax." By now, that trust has become impossible to miss. But the final signs reveal something even deeper. What your dog does when you're not right beside them. 10. Sleeping on your clothes. And what happens when you aren't there? For many dogs, the answer is surprisingly simple. They look for something that still smells like you. Your sweatshirt left on the chair. The shoes by the front door. The jacket you wore yesterday. Out of everything in the house, those become their favorite places to rest. At first, it seems a little strange, but for a dog, scent is more than a memory. It's reassurance. Research has shown that a familiar human scent can help reduce stress in dogs and promote a greater sense of security, even when the person is absent. So your dog isn't choosing your clothes because they're soft. They're choosing the one thing that still feels like you. In a way, your scent reminds them, "I'm not really gone." 11. The selective ear pivot. Now imagine you're sitting on the couch. You call your dog's name. They don't jump up. They don't run across the room. One ear turns toward you. Maybe both. Then, nothing. Some owners immediately think, "They're ignoring me." But dogs don't always respond with urgency when they already feel completely secure. They heard you. They know exactly where you are. And because nothing feels threatening, they don't feel the need to rush. It's the difference between, "I have to check on my person," and, "I already know everything is okay." Sometimes, the calmest response is actually the strongest sign of confidence, because trust doesn't always move quickly. Sometimes, it simply smiles and stays where it is. 12. The greeting bow. Then comes the moment every dog lover knows. You open the door. Before they run toward you, many dogs lower their front legs, stretch their bodies, and lift their tails high. Most people think it's just a stretch, but behaviorists often describe this as part of a greeting ritual. Your dog has been waiting, watching, listening for the sound of you coming home. Now the waiting is over. The excitement has to go somewhere. That playful bow helps release the emotional energy that has been building while you were away. It's almost like your dog's way of saying, "You're finally back. Now everything feels right again." By now, you've seen signs of comfort, trust, care, and emotional connection. But the final two signs go beyond affection. They reveal what your dog does when love becomes loyalty. 13. The heavy paw rest. And sometimes, love doesn't arrive with a bark or a wagging tail. It arrives with a single paw. Have you ever been sitting quietly when your dog slowly placed one paw on your hand? Or rested it gently on your leg? It isn't a random movement, and it isn't always asking for attention. Among social animals, gentle physical contact is one of the simplest ways to maintain connection. Your dog isn't pulling you somewhere. They're making sure the connection between you is still there. Almost as if they're saying, "I'm here. And I want to know you're here too." It's a quiet reminder that, for your dog, closeness isn't measured by words. Sometimes, one paw says everything. 14. The full body helicopter wag. Now think about the moment you come home. Before you even step inside, you hear the paws. Then suddenly, their entire body comes alive. Their tail doesn't just wag. Their hips sway. Their shoulders twist. Sometimes their whole back end seems to dance faster than the tail itself. Behavior researchers have long recognized that dogs express different levels of excitement through different tail movements. But when the entire body joins in, the emotion becomes impossible to hide. This isn't polite happiness. It's overwhelming joy. It's the kind of reunion that says, "The person I was waiting for is finally here." Few animals celebrate another individual with such complete, uninhibited excitement. And perhaps that's why so many people say the best part of coming home is seeing their dog. But even that isn't the deepest expression of love, because the greatest acts of love often happen when no one is watching. 15. The midnight guard. long after the lights are off, long after the house has become quiet, many dogs make one final choice. They settle outside your bedroom, beside your bed, or somewhere close enough to hear you breathe. They're no longer waiting to play. They're no longer asking for food. They're simply staying near. For thousands of years, dogs survived by sleeping together, watching over one another through the night. Resting close to trusted companions increased safety for the entire group. That ancient instinct never completely disappeared. Today, your home may be safe. Your doors may be locked. But your dog doesn't know that every danger is gone. They only know one thing. The person they care about is here. And tonight, just like every other night, they choose not to sleep too far away. Not because they have to, because that's where they want to be. Perhaps that's the most beautiful thing about a dog's love. It asks for very little, yet quietly gives everything. As you've probably realized by now, none of these 15 behaviors, by themselves, prove that your dog loves you like a mother. Following you from room to room, sleeping on your clothes, resting a paw on your hand, looking into your eyes, rolling over to expose their belly. Any one of those could seem ordinary on its own. But when they appear together, they begin telling the same story. A story of trust, of comfort, of connection. So let's go back to the question we started with. Were they ever just little habits? Or were they your dog's way of saying something they could never put into words? Because to many dogs, you're far more than the person who fills the food bowl or throws the tennis ball. You're the place where fear becomes calm, where uncertainty disappears, where they can finally let their guard down. You're their safe place. And perhaps, that's the closest thing to home a dog will ever know. Now we'd love to hear from you. How many of these 15 signs does your dog show? Tell us your dog's name and your favorite moment together in the comments below. And if you enjoy discovering the incredible emotional world dogs share with us, don't forget to subscribe to Doggo Mind for more stories that bring us even closer to our best friends. We'll see you in the next one.